everyone, this is MTG ASMR here, back with another Deck Tech video. Now we're trying something new here, and feel free to tell me in the comments if you like this or if you don't like it. But what I've done is, I've kind of brought my cam a little bit closer, so that hopefully you can get a better look at the cards that I'm going to be showing you here. Yeah, let me know if you like it. As always, if you like the video, give it a like. If you like all of my content, and you feel free to subscribe, that really helps out a bunch, and I would really, really appreciate it. Now this is another Deck Tech video, and it's another Commander deck. I know I make a lot of my Deck Tech videos around Commander decks, but that's the format that I play the most, and I really enjoy it. I'm also going no playmat here. It's just the wood, my little desk here, desk table, whatever. So also let me know if you like this. I'm trying to make it so it's easier for you guys to read some of the cards here. I've also, instead of pointing my light directly at the cards, it's kind of pointed a little bit away, so it's a bit darker, but might still be a little bit easier to read what's going on here. Yeah, sorry if you can see like a reflection there on the cards. I'll try and yeah. Well, anyways, let's get into it. So yeah, our commander here is Karn Legacy Reforged. It is a colorless commander deck, which this is the first colorless deck that I've ever built. I wanted to try building one. It seemed like a really interesting commander. I had him, and I was just like, you know what? Let's do it. So I went to my LGS. I went through all of their artifacts, all their colorless stuff, and I picked out a few pieces for this deck in particular that I wanted to run. And so I built the deck. I haven't actually gotten a chance to play it, and I'm gonna play it at F&M Commander this week. So I'm hoping that it does pretty well. Yeah, so as always with my deck techs, the list should be in the description below the video. So if you hop on down there, you can click on it to get a closer look at each of the pieces of the deck. I try and put all of the actual printings that I have in physical in there. But sometimes I might mess up a little bit, and it might be a little bit different, but it still should be generally what I'm showing you. Now, the one thing I will have to say about this deck right now is that it is a colorless deck, and the only basic lands you can run are wastes. Now, I don't own any wastes, unfortunately. So those I have proxied right now. I'm waiting on getting some wastes in the mail so that hopefully, I can show I can play with a full and complete deck. But I wanted to get this video out to you guys because I thought the deck construction was super cool. I spent a lot of time on it. I also don't really care about the stigma behind using proxies. If you want to use them, in my opinion, it's fine. There are a million discussions about it online, and yeah, go with your gut, your opinion. Just make sure that your opponents are informed if you're going to be running any proxies, and definitely don't run them in official events, because I'm pretty sure you can't do that. Now, anyways, let's look at what the commander does. I'm sorry that I've been rambling for 4 minutes, but let's get into it. So, Karn Legacy Reforged. He costs 5, and he is a legendary artifact creature golem. Karn Legacy Reforged. Power and toughness are each equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, add 1 colorless mana for each artifact you control. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells. Until end of turn, you don't lose mana. Lose this mana as steps and phases end. So, the goal of the deck: play a lot of artifacts. Because we like artifacts. So play a lot of artifacts. Make a lot of mana with our commander in some other ways. And hopefully be able to spend that mana on something impactful enough to end the game. Now this deck here is gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna take this in kind of a different order to some of my other deck techs. So at this point, I would generally show you some of the cards that I kind of built around, or some of the cards that are the most influential bunch on the deck, but today we're just gonna start right off with how to make more mana. Since our commander makes a lot of mana, we're gonna have other ways to make more and more and more mana. So we're gonna have a lot of mana. So let's kind of go through some ways to make a lot of mana, and then we'll get into how we're gonna use it. Now, our ramp is kind of split into a few different categories. You know, we start with some stuff that taps for mana, like, you know, your soul rings and all that. Stuff that searches for lands into our hand or on the battlefield. And some stuff that makes it easier to cast all of our spells. So we're going to kind of go in that order with stuff that taps for mana first. With cards like Ever-Flowing Chalice, a Soul Ring, as I mentioned, Felwar Stone, Thought Vessel, Mind Stone, Pristine Talisman, sorry about that, Worn Power Stone, Palladium Mirror, Thran Dynamo, Gilded Lotus, and the Might Stone and Weak Stone. Now, if you know this card, you'll know this card melds with, what is the card? Ursa, Lord Protector, and it turns into a multicolored planeswalker when you meld them together. So you might be thinking, hey, you can't run that in this deck, but actually I looked up the rulings, and meld states that for a melded card, the color identity of the back of the card does not affect what decks can be put in for commander and such. So this is a very good piece. It taps for mana, draws cards, makes creatures smaller, and maybe even kills them. So this is a great piece. I love this card. Now, as I said, we're going to move into some cards that, you know, can... Sorry, I'm kind of moving around in my chair a little bit. Can get some lands for us. Cards like Wayfarer's Bauble, Moon Silver Key, which can also get some other pieces from our deck. It's a pretty cool card there. Thematic Compass, Burnished Heart, Sword of Hearth and Home. And that's it for that category. Now, you know, as I as this channel gets older and older and older, you'll see I like to run some specific cards in my decks, and a lot of my decks like to run the same cards. Now, what I will also say is you might start to see, as obviously as my channel gets older, some of the same cards in multiple decks, and the reason for that is I'm a chronic deck builder. I build decks, I take them apart. Even some of the earlier decks on this video might not even still be decks in the same vein as they were when I showed them to you. But that's just the way I like to play Magic. I build decks, take them apart all the dang time, and, you know, it lets me just kind of change what I'm doing. It kind of spices up the game for me and keeps me interested. Now, as I said, we're going to kind of look at some stuff. We only have a few cards here that reduce the cost. It makes our stuff easier to cast. Cards like Foundry Inspector, Cloud Key, and both those make our artifacts basically cost one colorless less to cast. And this is another one of my favorite cards here, Forsaken Monument. Makes our colorless creatures better. Whenever we tap permanents for colorless, get an additional one. And if we cast a colorless spell, you gain life. Kind of does a lot here. Great card. Kind of makes our whole deck just better at what it's already doing. And lastly, for our ramp here, we've got a Blinkmoth Urn. It does what our commander does. So if you just get both of them on the battlefield, that's just a lot of extra mana. Man, having this card in the command zone is super fun from what I've play tested. Now that's all of our ramp, right? There's a lot of, if I hold the pile up here, right? There's a lot of different ways that we can make more mana. And now, let's go look at the cards that let us use all of that extra mana. So, this is also going to split into a few different categories, right? We've got cards that let us use any amount of the mana, and cards that just are kind of expensive to cast. So, right, we've got Stonecoil Serpent here, Orochi Hatchery, Riptide Replicator, Staff of Domination, and Karn Living Legacy are all cards that let us kind of throw as much mana was like a 2020 over a tree hatchery, right? Can just kind of start throwing a bunch of snakes onto the battlefield. Riptide Replicator is really cool. Lets us make some really big dudes. Staff of Domination is just like such a good value piece. Does so much for us, and it's just super good. And Karn Living Legacy has -1. Lets us pay any amount of mana, and we can just start looking through our library for other pieces from this pile. Or if we're looking for something like our Blink Moth Urn, it would be really good to go and find with him if possible. So all of those. And now let's look at some cards that just cost a lot of mana. So Karn Silver Golem, another one of my favorite cards, lets us use all of our artifacts as creatures if we have all that mana. And maybe at the end of the game we can use that to kind of swing in and kill our opponents. We've got Cauldron Complete here. Turns anything into a big beater, and I love me some big beaters. Throw that on our commander, start swinging in for a lot of damage. We've also got here Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Just a really good ender, kind of kills people, gets rid of their stuff. A very good card. And a Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, draws us cards, has Annihilator, and it's really hard to get rid of forever unless you can exile him. So, yeah, some very cool big guys in here. Let's look at some card draw and card advantage here next. Right, so obviously a lot of artifacts. So we're going to use some artifacts to draw cards. Cards like Mishra's Bauble lets us draw cards and look at our opponent's hand. You've got Sensei's Divine Top, very strong magic card, and can really do a lot of work for us. Eye of Vecna lets us use our life as card draw, life as a resource, pretty good stuff. Reckoner Bankbuster lets us draw a few cards and then turns into a beater afterwards. We've got Investigator's Journal, just lets us draw a lot of cards, hopefully over the course of the game. Seer's Sundial, one of our lands come into play. We're going to be drawing cards. Good stuff. We've got here Endbringer. Just is a very good card in multiplayer. Draws us a lot of stuff, ping stuff down, pretty cool. We've got the Immortal Sun, which will draw more cards. Spells are easier to cast, creatures are bigger. Pretty cool. A Staff of Nin lets us draw cards and ping stuff down. It's kind of an extra removal piece there. And then 2 cards which kind of tutor for stuff. Planar Bridge and Planar Portal. Takes a lot of mana, but we're hopefully going to have a lot of mana and we're able to tutor for stuff that we need or want put on the battlefield. Just a couple really good cards. Alright. Now this is an hard colorless deck, and you only have so many options for cards, and I wanted to run some fun stuff. So this next pile is some fun cards, some good value pieces. They all help us in a very unique way, but didn't really fit perfectly into another pile there. A card like Pyxis of Pandemonium. Temporal Aperture, very, very fun card. Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter, lets us play on our opponent's turns. Unwinding Clock, lets us play on our opponent's turns yet again. We got a Clock of Omens, lets us untap stuff. We got Mirrorworks, lets us make copies of some of our better artifacts. And a Wandering Archaic, if our opponents are doing stuff, we're doing it too. We also run some cards that help protect us and slow our opponents down, right? So kind of hopefully stopping our opponents from killing us or winning the game in some weird ways. Stuff like this Elixir of Immortality kind of keeps our graveyards from getting too full. A Hope of Kiripur to kind of stop our opponents if they're gonna about to pop off or do something. We've got a Pithing Needle. If our opponent's got a really pesky creature with an evade ability, can't do it. We've got Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots to protect our commander because it makes a lot of mana and it is a creature, so it kind of is. The deck is very weak to artifact removal, and you'll learn that a well-timed Vandal Blast can really screw us up. So hopefully opponent's grid, stop our opponents from, this is kind of a non-bow with some of our stuff to play on our opponent's turns, but hopefully we'll have enough mana that the 3 more doesn't matter. But it really is just a deterrent from our opponents from stopping us from playing the game. We've got the Stasis Coffin, gain protection from everything until my next turn, and a Soul of New Phyrexia to give all of my permanents indestructible. Now, this would be a great place to show off the One Ring if I put it in the deck, and I own one. I just didn't want to put it in the deck because this is not a deck that wins fast. It's a deck that takes a while to win. And, I think the deck could easily ramp up the One Ring very, very quickly, and that could kill us on its own. It's a deck that takes a little while to win, set up a whole value engine, draw a bunch of cards, and then over a few turns probably hit our opponents to death. So if we ran the One Ring, I think we'd kill ourselves before we'd kill our opponents. And along with that, there aren't that many small creatures in this deck. Our opponents, if they're playing aggressively enough, can easily get under what we're doing. And, yeah, the One Ring, it'll help us for 1 turn, but against 3 opponents, if they're all hitting us, we're probably gonna lose if we're doing damage to ourselves. So, I decided not to throw it in. It's a great card, don't get me wrong. I just didn't want to run it, I guess. Now, obviously, we gotta run some sort of removal because we gotta slow our opponents down. So, we're running cards like Soul Guide Lantern, stop our opponents from doing graveyard stuff. And everything else is kind of expensive. Removal and colorless costs a lot of mana, so yeah. We've got a card, Blade Griff Prototype. Pretty cool, kind of politic card. A Duplicant. A Steel Hellkite. A Spine of Ish Saw. All is dust. It's the only real sweeper that we got. Actually, Steel Hellkite is definitely also a sweeper, but you know what I mean. And last but not least, a Cityscape Leveler. Now, that's pretty much the deck. After this, we just got some non-basic lands and those wastes that I was talking about earlier. Now, we run a lot of non-basic lands. I wanted to use as few proxies for wastes as possible. So most of our lands are non-basics that all have some sort of thing they can do to help us out that isn't just tap for mana. So, right, we've got an Evolving Wilds here, a Fabled Passage, Field of Ruin, Labyrinth of Scophos, Hostile Desert, Drown Yard Temple, Mobilized District, Gargoyle Castle, the Mycosynth Gardens, which is a great card for an artifact deck, Crawling Barrens, Darksteel Citadel, Arcane Lighthouse, this beautiful Temple of the False God here, got the promo, the 2003 on there. I love the old border foil. A Zalfiran Void, Blast Zone, Ghost Quarter, Drenith Ruins, Access Tunnel, Tyrite Sanctum, High Market, Ponder's Enclave, Command Beacon, Roadside Reliquary, Plaza of Heroes, Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. We've got a Castle Dracula that is a Voldaran estate, and a Rogue's Passage. So as you can see, pretty much all of these cards tap for colorless or did something else. And that's what makes them so useful. And that's what I kind of like the colorless deck a lot. It's because your lands, right, can use some of this mana, hopefully, that my commander generates. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to run 10 wastes. As I said, I proxied them. I just turned around some basic lands, and these are my wastes. That's all I got for now. And that's the deck, as I mentioned before. Deck list in the description below. Go check it out. I'm going to put some actual wastes in there, so if you were looking to pick up the deck, you can get kind of a realistic sense of how much it's going to cost. I really enjoyed building the deck, the kind of deck building restrictions that you'll get from a colorless deck, and I'm really, really happy about it. So, if you like the video, give it a like. If you like my content, feel free to subscribe. Really appreciate it. And next week will be another pack opening video, and I hope I catch you then. Videos come out every week, every Friday at 12 noon EST.